Red Voyage News, splashing the check-in. Thank you for tuning in. Now I have an article right here. I know I'm late on this story, but better now than never. Security monitor arrested after punching 7th grader in shoulder. Okay, this guy right here, 40-year-old security guard at a middle school, Antwan Ruffin. He was working at Horace Mann Middle School in El Portal, Florida, was caught on video punching, socking an 11-year-old in the shoulder. Okay, so I'm going to play the video. Sorry. Okay, this is the video. I have the audio muted. So you see him. He's talking to an 11-year-old, punched him in the shoulder. Okay, he was later on arrested. He had posted bail, and he was released Thursday night after the incident. I'm going to read what he said in a little bit. Okay, see, he punched him in the shoulder. This guy's like 6'7". Okay, now the opinion I'm going to give you guys about this video is not going to be a popular opinion. All right, so I want you to brace yourself. All right, I want you to brace yourself. Okay, so he told the kid, try me when the bell rings, you're in my hallway. All right, do what you're going to do. Bring his blank, bring them all, bring them all. I ain't scared of nothing to bring them all. So basically he was saying, hey, you know, the men that you know, the men in your family or the men that you know, you could bring them, you know, and I'm not scared of none of them. So you had parents that were concerned, obviously, and they had a few words to say. It's concerning. I'm not going to lie. It's very concerning. You send your kids to school and you think you're going to be safe at school. You're not thinking an adult is going to put his hands on your child. Okay. Now, what he did was wrong. I'm not excusing his behavior. What this man did was wrong. Okay. And there was a lot of people out there that said, hey, you know, if that was my child, basically they were saying, hey, I would have committed acts of violence against this man for putting his hand on my child. I don't care how big he is. I would have done this. I would have done that. Some of the things that people said they would have done to him, I'm not going to repeat on here. Okay. Now, let me give you guys my opinion. Okay. If he had done this to my 11-year-old son, I would have asked him, what did he do? And how was he speaking to you? Did you talk to him at first? Did you try to get an understanding? And how did he respond to you enforcing the rules? Because he is hired as a security guard. Okay. How did he respond to your authority? Was he challenging it? Was he rude? Yes, he was challenging me. He said this, that, and the third. He was rude, blah, 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 blah. I would have said, hey, you know what? Thank you. Thank you. That's what he gets. I come from an era where, you know, I grew up in the church. All right. After a certain age, you know, my parents was like, hey, you know, basically by the time I was like in high school, 14, 15 years old, you know, it's like I didn't have to get up and get dragged to church anymore after that. It was like you can pretty much go your own route. You want to come with us, you can. If you don't, then fine. But before that, when I was a youngin', I, you know, had to go to church. I even went my kindergarten year, first grade, and second grade years. I was in private school at a church, not an upscale, uppity, expensive tuition type of private school. No. I mean, this we're talking about small churches, not mega churches, but small churches that had elementary school classes, elementary classes, and middle school classes at their school. And there were not only were we disciplined by the staff there as far as spankings, we had neighborhood beatings in the neighborhoods I grew up in also. All right. So at school, if I was acting up, you know, the pastor's wife, a deacon, bishop, whoever the staff was, they were members of the church. They would tell you to hold your hand out and they would spank you on the hand. You know, some of the schools, they spank you on the bottom. All right. If you kept acting up, they would spank you. Now, it wasn't the way your parents would spank you. but they would still spank you. And they were like, hey, this better not happen again. Right? And then they would bring you over to your parents and they would tell you what they did. And your parents would say, hey, thank you, I'll take it from here. And then your parents will whoop you when you get home. Because it's like, you're representing my name. You're throwing dirt on my name, representing me by you going to school acting a fool. Right? So that's was raised, especially in the neighborhoods, like when you were doing something you weren't supposed to be doing and your friend's mother caught you, your friend's father caught you, or the neighbors caught you, and your neighbor looks like you, they will kind of yoke you up, and they might spank you, or they might discipline you, and then they'll bring you home, tell your parents what you were doing, and then your parents will say thank you, and they'll take it from there. That's when there were more families, you had more, when you had two-parent households, more two-parent households in the house growing up. You got kids running wild, the mothers are wild, they talking to you crazy, and really say anything as far as, forms of discipline, spanking. I mean, that's becoming, or it is illegal. It's considered abuse from a parent. They're looking for any reason to just take children away from the parents, especially from black mothers and black parents today. They can put them and run them through the foster care system. I have a lot of parents out here, they want you, it's kind of like, especially when it's private tutoring, whether it's learning English as a second language, tutoring, science tutoring, writing, reading. I mean, parents who act like, hey, just teach the damn curriculum to my kids. I pay you. This is what I pay you for. Do your job. And it's kind of like, hey, I can't do my job because he won't be quiet. He won't sit down. He's talking crazy to me in class. About this guy right here, it's like people would have looked at him soft had he done the right thing. If you resign because it's like, hey, these kids are way too disrespectful. I'm making complaints. I'm doing this, that, and the third, and nobody seems to care about what I have to say. So I'm just going to resign and go down a different career path. People are going to look at you as soft, like, man, you this big 6'7" dude who's getting punked by kids. You see what I'm saying? It's like, then when you raise your voice, the parents, they want to come talk to you. They want to come down on the security guard and the school because he raised his voice at a kid. Light kids up and take them to the principal's office. Now you're considered mean. The parents want to come down on you. Your child has to do ISS or after school suspension or after school suspension or detention, because they say he's too mean. He's doing his job. If he says, hey, I'm just going to write you up, and then he runs away or whatever, then you go to the principal's office. Hey, I have a student. He's running away. He's not listening to me. It's like, what did I hire you for? I mean, you're 6'7". You can't handle 11-year-old kids. You see what I'm saying? It's like people would have looked at him as soft either way it goes. It was a lose-lose situation for him. Working around today's generation of kids, today's generation of parents, it's not easy at all. It is not easy. Thankless job. Everybody would have think the same and be like, hey, man, I'm not working with kids unless these parents, check these kids better, learn how to, unless these parents discipline their children. If everybody thought the same that was in the education field to say, hey, we're not dealing with these kids unless you discipline them, then everybody's going to complain and say, hey, we don't have any educators. What's wrong with our educators? How come you can't handle kids? These are kids at the end of the day. So I'm going to stop the video right here. What do you think? Okay. What do you think? It wasn't right what he did, but at the same time, I'm not mad at what he did. And if it had been my 11-year-old child and, it was reported to me that he said something slick or he wasn't listening and he's always in the hallway every single day, the principal and staff, they're coming down on me because he won't go to class. He never goes to class and my job is on the line and I didn't know how to get through to him. We contacted you and this, that, and the third. I would have said thank you. But that's just me. What do you think? Splash, man. Like, subscribe, comment, share this video. I'm over and I'm out. Peace.